Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to the Book Bonk Podcast. Welcome back to any previous viewers. I'm Chilly.
And I'm Ray.
Today we will be going over chapters 17, 18, 19, and 20 for Fourth Wing. So to start us off, we're going over, of course, chapter 17. And so for this chapter, we get to right after threshing and how all the power dynamics change from being unbounded to bounded and how all the squad dynamics start changing. We also find out that Oren is on breakfast duty, which I put in my notes as break duty.
Yeah, I definitely read Oren on break duty, and I was like, what does she mean by that? And then I reread the chapter, I was like, oh, breakfast duty.
I forgot the period to show it was short.
I also am very interested in the next one, your like next little point, because I have not been able to figure out what you mean by that.
So my next point on here, as I try to remember what exactly I was talking about, is I put Jack Feral Dog. So I'm pretty certain what I was talking about is the fact that, words that Jack is, he's bounded, but he's bounded to a small orange dragon. And since his dragon is small, people are kind of like, stay away, stay away, stay away. And Jack's like about to be losing it as everyone's like, stay away. Because he went from being somebody to being nobody.
Oh, yeah, because in the chapter, she's like, she mentions that she's not gonna like fight him because a feral dog backed into a corner bites harder or something.
That's what the line was.
That's what it was. I was like, what does she mean by Jack Feral Dog? I remember now. Okay. It makes sense now. I was like, I don't feel like Jack is particularly violent in this chapter.
Yeah, because he's been backed into a corner. I'm like, I'm glad Violet actually is noticing that and not being stupid, because she's been taking all of Jack's threats and throwing it into the dark cobweb corner, ignoring it. So there's that. I think also what happens with Jack. Actually, this might be in the next chapter. I forget which chapter. There's a scene where you see Jack and he's talking to a girl. Let's see. Let me go down my character list here to find the girl. Yeah, here we go. Caroline Ashton, and congratulates her. And he's like, oh my gosh. He's like giving her like rubbing her hair, like giving her like a, little head pat kind of thing. And he was like congratulating her because she bonded with Glenn, which the dragon Glenn was the same one who Violet and Terran notes when she's on Terran flying. And for the first time, that the rider for Glenn falls off and goes splat. So Jack is and got bounded with a dragon after the fact. And Violet notes how this just shows proof that the unbounded people still have a chance. Which case, I now have a new question along those lines is, how on earth did that bounding happen? Did this girl like hunt down that dragon?
Yeah, that's what I wasn't too sure of, which I feel like that's how I would have had to have gone. But I also don't see that ending well if you're like, that's the one, I'm gonna go hunt it down and find it. That's kind of the exact opposite of what they said you should do in Threshing.
Yeah. I don't think we get told what type of dragon Glenn is either, just that he's a male dragon.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting, and I really kind of want to know how that went down, frankly. Did she just go back to the Forest Bowl? Is there just sometimes dragons chilling in there? It's a weird place for them to be chilling, but like maybe.
Yeah, unless they all like flew back to where like they gave names and they were standing there and the dragon went, that one. That's the one.
That's true.
Yeah, I feel like those are the only ways that I could see it going. But the second one's unrealistic, and so is the first one, so.
Yeah, because there's definitely, it's the dragon chooses their rider, not the other way around, by any means. Fun fact, I put a quote somewhere where I was like, Harry, the wand chooses the wizard. Gave off that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. My notes from editing videos, audios, not videos, they're audios. I know what I'm talking about.
You're doing great, sweetie.
But yeah, so you have the cafeteria where all the power exchanges is going around, and like Violet sits down with her group, and then all of a sudden, like the third year squad members, and her like squad suddenly chooses to sit with them, and Violet's like, "What the hell?" And then we pretty much find out they're like, "Oh yeah, you're bonded. We don't have to worry about you just dropping dead, so we can chat with you now."
Yeah, literally they're like, yeah, it happens after threshing. Since everyone's bonded, now we can actually like get to know you. A choice, but a choice to wait so long.
Yeah, and all the power changes because it's like, well, what dragon did you get? Well, how big is your dragon? Which dragon? Like all of that, and they all start playing the hierarchy game.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone starts pretty much bowing down to Violet and being like, "We're friends, right?" Totally.
Yeah.
It kills me. It kills me how quickly everybody changes.
Yeah. As if y'all weren't trying to kill her like 3 weeks ago.
Or it screams it needs the Violet will remember this. Like, what happened to that?
Yeah.
Do these people think that Violet's just all of a sudden going to forget everything that's happened? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to, but, you know.
Wild. People are wild. And then, of course, we get into, I think they go training after the cafeteria, in which case Imogen's like, I'm going to take over your training now.
Yeah, Imogen's, they're literally just sitting there and Imogen's like, you, me, outside after we eat. And Violet's like, oh, great, now we're back at it. But no, she's like, I'm gonna help train you. And then Ria's like, I was helping train her. And she's like, well, I'm gonna help her with weights. And we're gonna help build muscle because homegirl needs it.
I need an Imogen in my life, man.
To just randomly be like, you, me, the gym, 10 minutes.
Exactly. I'll take a hot chick with pink hair telling me how to weightlift.
That's so valid.
And then that's where Violet stares down Xaden, and Xaden pretty much just straight up tells her, yeah, I stuck, whatever, Imogen on you. And I think Garrick even gives Violet a pitying look.
Yeah, I think so.
Which, this brings me into a question I had, and I'm not certain if it was because of these chapters or later chapters, but either way, I think it applies to these. Is they're like in the training room, and they like be in the training room for a variety of reasons later and all for training. But even in this scenario, you have like Imogen's in the room, you have Garrick in the room, you have Xaden in the room, and I'm like, at one point it felt like the whole squad was in a room, and I'm just like, I guess because they're a squad, maybe, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of marked ones in one room that I'm like, how is this not illegal somehow, somewhere?
I mean, like, they can't be alone in, like, groups of 5 or more, 3 or more, 2 or more. I don't remember the number. So maybe it's different if there's other people around, or, like, also it's, yeah.
So I took a screenshot, but I found the quote where no more than 3 cadets carrying rebellion relics may be assigned to any squad of any quadrant. And then there's also a marked ones assembling in groups of 3 or more will now be considered an act of conspiracy and a capital offense.
Maybe it's different if there's, well, what's the spacing between them?
I don't know. But it was like kind of like, let's say for like the meetings, you have like the whole roundup sometimes of people where it's like, oh, we need to give an announcement or we're doing a death call. And I'm like, how many marked ones all up in there?
I feel like that's different because they don't get a choice. They have to be there.
Yeah. And so it just starts kind of getting like, there's a lot of technicalities in here that's not straight up mentioned in the book, where it's like, well, if it's only 3 people in a squad and there's 2 squads around each other training in the same room, that's more than 3 people technically gathered.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need the word like alone or something added to the statement.
Yeah. Like, you can't just say in groups of 3. It's got to be 3 alone or 3 with, like, no other cadets around, or, like, 3 suspiciously.
If I were to walk into the training room and there's like no one else in there but like 6 marked ones training, even if they're all in different squads, I it's like, it's like that seems suspicious and like it would count versus if it was 6 people from different squads working in there, but there's also others also in there working.
Yeah.
So, I started like losing my mind and going, I need the wording, I need the details. I like am a lawyer mode now. How does this work?
Not lawyer mode.
So I just had to point that out as we're in the training room because
Yeah.
I'm stressing and I'm not even a marked one or in the story of imagination. And then of course for chapter 17, the other half of chapter 17. Oh, we missed the fun part. I'll backtrack to that. The other half of chapter 17 was about flight class.
Yeah.
Now that you have a dragon, you gotta learn how to fly. Where RIP Violet, she falls off every single time, and I don't understand it.
I mean, she's tiny. She got a big dragon.
No. It's the fact that she's so stubborn about falling off. She's like, I need to do it myself. And then she falls off. And then, what is she accomplishing here? Because if she's weight training, she should just continue weight training and exercising and building up the muscles and then trying it every once in a while to see if she's improved. Otherwise, she's just causing damage.
Yeah, that would definitely be the smarter way of doing it, but like, why would we do anything smart in this fucking school?
I just remember her reading or something, and she's like, oh yeah, I fell off. I don't know how many times. I'm going to say 36. I don't know.
Yeah, it was 36. Because later she's like, yeah, I only fell off a dozen times this time.
Yeah. And then she was like, and then my like legs are covered in bruises. So we have to be careful what muscles we're training.
Yeah.
Me just questioning Violet and her stubbornness, I guess. Oh my gosh, Bella. She's so licky.
Yeah, she has so much love to give.
Oh my gosh, Bella.
Hi, honey.
So to get to the fun parts of chapter 17, because I kind of skipped over them a little bit, is it's starting off with Violet walking out of her room, making direct eye contact with Sawyer walking out of Ree's room, and him blushing.
Yeah. I didn't actually pay any attention to that. So whenever we were talking about it earlier, I was like, did they? And I was like, yeah, I guess I did.
I was like, what happened to the chick she was hooking up with previously?
Tara. We love Tara.
I don't know what that was about, but okay. Just like a random one-time thing with Sawyer.
Yeah, it definitely feels weird.
Oh, it was also funny too, because you get, once again, Violet gives a description of him again upon seeing him exiting Ree's room, going, he's tall and lean with freckles, and his cheeks are almost as red as his freckles. And I was like, are freckles red?
Yeah, I don't feel like freckles are red.
And so now I'm questioning, is he a redhead? Because I don't think we've been given a hair color for him yet. Yeah, we're not given a hair color for him. So now I'm wondering if Sawyer's a redhead.
I think he is.
Okay. So do gingers have red freckles?
Someone asked Courtney.
Does Courtney have freckles?
I think so.
That was questions, because otherwise we're just, he's repeating his first year. He's tall, wiry, light complexion, has freckles, and then reiterated tall, lean freckles. My favorite is we're told in one of the previous chapter, Reese says he's smart and athletic.
Oh.
So, and then she bangs him, so guess there was something there.
Yeah.
My other, because Ray and me were talking about it, because I had to bring it up, because I'm like, dang, this is the way they celebrate. They all just start boinking each other. They're all like, we didn't die. Time to boink. I'm like, that's a choice. But the fact that the even bigger choice is to look at your squad member and go, this won't have any oddness or weirdness whatsoever if we just blink one time to celebrate.
Yeah, this won't have any consequences later on.
None whatsoever. Probably won't, but it makes it even funnier too because they start talking about where their dragon bond mark is. And Violet's like, oh, mine's on my back. I think Riddick is on his arm. And Ree's like,
in a place you'll never see, which makes me wonder if I want to know if Ree has a dragon tramp stamp.
I was torn between that or like way up on her inner thigh.
Oh, maybe.
So one, the two, and the fact that she looks at Riddick because Riddick's the one asking, and it's like, no, never happening. You'll never see it. So she'll boink Sawyer, but not Riddick.
Not Riddick.
She drew a line. And then, of course, we find out little small statistics in this chapter, like the class size of people who bonded and all that is now 92, which is the smallest to date. And then the last little thing to majorly note about this chapter is the fact that Taryn?
The dragon?
Yeah. During, I think was it flight class? I think it was during flight class when Violet's flying with him, makes a comment saying that he's seen Violet's memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, how much of her memories? When did this happen? And bazillion questions. But then she also is just like, do dragons worship gods or have gods? Like, how's that work? And he was like, puny gods was basically what he said.
Yeah, he like lowers himself down so that she can climb up. And she's like, you don't have to accommodate for me. And he's like, I'm not just accommodating for you. I'm accommodating for me because the last thing I want is a dagger in my leg or something. And she's like, she's talking about how like she's praying to, which god was it? The strength and war god, Dune. And he's like, we don't believe in your puny little gods. They mean nothing to us. And I'm like, fair enough. You are a literal dragon.
I had to quote it and like not quote it, but I had to make a comment on it because Avengers, puny god, smack, 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 smack. He literally uses the words puny god or gods.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So sometimes I wonder, I read these things throughout this and I wonder, is this inspired from this or is it just ingrained or is this just a happy coincidence?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're moving on to chapter 18, which pretty much for that chapter, three things happen in this chapter that are huge. I thought it was two, but it's actually three. So we get the archives, some more cafeteria shenanigans with signets, and then the sleep attack. So, yes, Ray?
Okay. So sorry. I raised my hand and then my brain buffered. My hand worked faster than my brain. As far as archives, I hope you mention what I feel is very necessary information.
100% will not watch this.
Okay. If you don't, I will hop in.
So, Justinia, we get to meet up with her and finally get to meet her and know who she is. She's Violet's bestie. And also, they don't strictly say it, but they pretty much strictly say it. She signs. They're all signing. She's deaf. They're just sign languaging, talking. And I don't know which sign language they're using or what it looks like or any of that. Or anything past that, but we just get them signing and then we get some more kind of scribe lore. I shouldn't say lore, but more info about scribes and how they operate and how they're very kind of professional, I guess should be the saying.
Yeah.
So Violet walked over to see Justinia. I want to keep saying Justinia. She goes over to visit her a little bit, but also to go to the scribes or to go and get some books from the archives. And so she asked Justinia, she was like, hey, there's this like book of fables that I love and adore. So, and Justinia's like, oh, I'll get to that. And she goes looking and searching and she doesn't come up with anything. And so Violet's like, that's insanely weird. It's just folk tales. It's just some fables.
Yeah, she's like, when is when has that ever been something that's banned? Because their archives have like everything that's not banned or something else. Or like classified, I think. It was like it had everything but classified and banned materials. So she's like, these are just it's just folklore. It's just fables from like when she was a kid that her dad would read to her.
Her dad, who was a scribe. We get some more, like, first of all, one, it was brought up at the beginning of the book, and then secondly, it's brought up again now. And third, it's that, why is this not here? So we're getting a lot of, what's up with these fables? What's going on here? How is this going to come into the story? So that's pretty much the archives. Am I missing anything else, or was that the important thing?
That was the important thing.
I was like, that's all I had for archives, was just Justinian and fables.
Yeah, there was also some little, like...
You're right.
Some little, like, conversation happening between her and Professor Markham, I believe, and one of the, like, first-year scribes. Because they were talking about how stuffy it was, and Professor Markham was like, maybe Violet can tell you why, and she's like, haha, I actually can. It's because of fireproofing measures so that our entire library doesn't go up in smoke.
Bro literally was like, so this is my favorite child who none of you will ever be able to match, and sadly she's not here and I hate it. Show off, please, Violet.
That's basically exactly what happened. He was like, she was my star pupil, and now she's not here, but she can still beat your ass in knowing things.
It's like, you may try to be her, but you will never succeed.
Yeah.
And then just flashback to Violet being like, no, I'm going to stay on this dragon, and falls off, and falls off, and falls off.
Again, and again, and again. I think it would be an interesting game to be like, if you were there, just being like, you know, like, challenge, like, your worst enemy to be like, I bet you can't take a shot every time Violet falls off of her dragon.
No.
Like, find someone that you, like, absolutely can't stand. Be like, I bet you can't do this.
No, hear me out. Just have it be a gambling game. Take your bets now. How many times is Violet going to fall off today? Is it going to be less than 20 or more than 20?
Hey, she's getting better. She's down to 12, which is a lot better than the 36.
True. Take your bets. I want to know, because there's, you know, how they all are acting. There's got to be some betting or shenanigans going on.
Oh, 100%. They got bets going on.
So that's that part. And then we get to, once again, the cafeteria scene, because I feel like we're all stuck in high school and it's cafeteria. Because we all know, if you've been to college, nothing happens in the cafeteria.
Yeah, I never go to, like, the campus cafeterias.
I don't think I've ever stepped foot. No. Yes. I'm not certain. I don't think I've ever stepped foot in the cafeteria for the college or, well, university.
I stepped foot in one, and I ate there, but I ate there, like, when I was doing a campus tour, and my dad was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go here so you get the full experience.
Whichever one has the Chick-fil-A, I went inside that for the Chick-fil-A, but I didn't think that really counts as a cafeteria, or it's like one of the...
No, I went into the one that's like full-on cafeteria.
Back to the cafeteria storyline, is everything happens in the cafeteria here. Violet poisons people. She refuses, actually, that was another thing we didn't talk about in the last chapter. She refuses to actually eat there to a degree because she's convinced Oren's going to do what she did to him and poison her.
Yeah, which also, I don't think he's smart enough to know what to use to poison her. And if he is smart enough to know what to use, this man's not going to know where to get it.
Fully expect this man just to spit in her food.
Yeah, I think that's all he can do.
Yeah, it would be something stupid like that, or I say stupid, something questionably gross like that, or like sticking a bug in it or something.
Drop an entire coffee bean in it.
Exactly. Something that's like, frankly, probably would be obvious to some degree, and it's like nothing deadly, probably. So this time in the cafeteria scene, we find out more information about signets, and we get to see somebody die.
Yippee! I guess. Yeah. Yeah. This is why you don't get the one forbidden signet.
If you can read people's minds uncontrollably, well, that's your death sentence.
Yeah. And Professor Carr just walks over and he snaps your neck like a twig.
And that's how we meet Professor Carr.
Carr.
Which is funny because right before that, we had people going, "Hey, Sawyer, so what's Professor Carr like?" And he's like, terrifying.
Yeah.
And then bro just walks in, snaps a kid's neck, and then goes, "Yep."
He's basically walking in, snapping a kid's neck, going, "My job here is done," and leaves. Like,
I'm not even certain he even took the body with him.
I don't think so.
Well, yeah, I guess because they just have to go and then burn his body and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Somebody who likes him has to do that. That's criminal.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
But yeah, we learned that Dane, pretty much with that, Dane was this close to dying with his own. But he gets lucky because his is controlled via touching people on their face with his hands to like see their memories and all that stuff. So they're like, oh, we can control him and keep him from knowing things he's not supposed to, or like XYZ kind of like security stuff. So they're like, okay, you can be a part of the information group and we don't have to kill you. But if you have just what they call intrinsic, so close, abilities, which is just like uncontrolled mind reading or anything close to that that's not controllable, you get killed instantly because they don't know what you know and what you don't know, and they can't guarantee keeping their secrets of classified information, whatever. You're a security risk. Goodbye. So we get to learn all that fun information, and I'm like, since signet abilities revolve around the person themselves, I just go, wow, that kid, I have his name somewhere. Let's see. Not that guy. Is it this one? Jeremiah. Jeremiah must have been either super insecure or super gossipy and wanting to know everything around him or something to develop that. So, sorry. I was reading his file and the last line is just crack, snap, a pop goes his neck.
Yeah.
So, that was my note on him dying. I literally go, first year, signet manifested, intrinsic, powers a death sentence. Such abilities can't be controlled, so they get killed. Gets killed by car. Crack, snapple, pop goes his neck. So that's Jeremiah's file. Oh, that's all we get here from Jeremiah too. So then, of course, that's pretty much the other key important information we get from that chapter. And Violet's kind of freaked out. And then, of course, we get the fun little sleep attack happens. Violet goes to sleep, and then she gets... Oh, she had some dream or something, and then wakes up, and Taryn's screaming at her to get up.
Yeah. She's, like, dreaming that she's back in the archives, and Taryn's just screaming at her to wake up before she dies.
It was like, you stupid child, wake up. Not quite, but close enough.
Basically.
We find out that there are 7 total unbounded that are in the room trying to kill her. 3 women, 4 men, and we also learn that a female runs away after opening the door, and Oren's there to kill her again. Because even let's say they did manage to kill her, if somehow, even, there's 7 of them, if they somehow kill her, dragons will only go and bond with one person, so even if he does somehow bond with one of them, which I don't think would whatsoever, you have 6 others, and you killed her in her sleep. Like, you're screwed.
Yeah, I feel like whoever the dragon bonds is likely going to be the next one to die. Because then the, other people are going to be wanting the dragon. So they're going to say that they killed Violet in her sleep, and then they're going to get executed. And then it's just going to go down the line.
That's just leading to chaos.
Yeah.
That's just full-on chaos. And what if they start infighting, too? And who's to say, even if you did bond with the dragon, you still broke the laws and all that stuff. They might just kill you anyways.
Oh, yeah, they definitely would.
They very much kill first, ask questions later, to a degree. Oh, okay, yeah, because this is chapter 18 still. I was like, why do I have Violet, Xaden, and Dane on here? Now I remember. Because this is the chapter where Dane and Violet goes tit for tit for, which they also did a little bit in 17, where 17, they were just talking about the kiss from the past chapters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where Dane and Violet finally kiss, and Violet's like, I feel nothing. And they finally have a conversation on that. And Violet's like, oh, cool, he agrees with me that this is just weird and it doesn't work. And Dane's like, is like, oh, yeah, no, I love you and all, but like, I'm a squad leader and I have ambitions and this just isn't right. I'm your squad leader.
Yeah. Rank over relationship.
He literally went, my career's more important than you, Violet. Like, I love you and all, but my career.
Yeah.
And Violet's like, dead face, deadpanning, and going, oh, we're not on the same page here whatsoever. And then it's funny because, so they had that little conversation in chapter 17, and then chapter 18, they run into each other again. And I think it was on the flight field. I think both times they're on the flight fields or something like that. And Dane comes storming in, and Taryn is like, tell him to back the F off. Not quite that wording, but Taryn does not like Dane whatsoever. And how does T know Dane or anything is because, once again, Bros has all of Violet's memories. That's a thing that's just dropped and not talked about. Invasion of privacy much?
Yeah, I was listening to this, like, while laying in bed next to my boyfriend, and name redacted. And midway through, I think it was like either midway through chapter 19 or midway through chapter 20, he goes, I hate Dane, and I don't have, like, he was like, I don't know anything else about him, but I hate him. I was like, yeah, me too. Except I know more things about him.
This is peak moment for everybody to hate Dane because he's just straight up in the wrong.
Yeah. Especially in chapter 20.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I can argue for him, but it is very hard to argue in his favor whatsoever, because he's straight up wrong. He's straight up in the wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they get an argument, and he starts, one, you tell he's already pissed off, walking over to Violet, and you have pretty much Violet is forced to tell him that her dragon will freaking kill him if he doesn't back the hell up.
And, said that he would, like, burn him to ash or something.
And Dane's like, I'm not going to hurt you. But anyway, he loses because a dragon's a dragon. And so basically he's uppity upset because Violet hasn't talked with him at all. And she's falling off her dragon. And he's like, how could you not tell me you've been falling off? He's like, I thought you got a dragon. I thought you were good now. And Violet's like, I'm better. I'm not like, she's trying to lighten the mood. She's like, I'm not falling off like every 3 seconds. I'm now falling off every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's like, huh? What? Freaks out. And I get his point. I feel like I'm screaming again.
We did not mention something very important during the sleep attack, and that is when time stopped.
We also didn't mention Xaden either.
Oh, yeah. We kind of missed half of the sleep attack moment.
I got distracted because this stuff happens before the sleep attack, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because this happened, this part, the stuff we were just talking about happens, and then the sleep attack, and then death roll call.
Yeah, which is chapter 19.
Death roll call 20, I think.
Yeah, chapter 19, 20. We're in 18 still.
Oh.
So, yeah, all this happens, and then it's like the sleep attacks at, like, towards the end of the chapter. We're bouncing around here, man. My notes aren't always quite in order.
Also, he just assumed that if she bonded a dragon, all of her problems would just disappear.
Yeah, it was something. Let me scroll. Like, he's, like, grabbing her and yanking her arm. Like, it's very aggressive. And she's like, the hell's your problem? And she's like, it's not a secret. Everybody knows. Like, everyone can see her falling off. She kind of like, if you were here for the squad flight things, you would know.
Yeah.
And so he's very, I think, upset to some degree. I think he's more upset because Violet's just not talking with him. And he's having to find out stuff through the grapevine and not through Violet, who they're supposed to be besties.
They're supposed to be besties, but he doesn't trust anything that she says or does.
Yeah, and then she also kind of doesn't trust him at all either at this point.
Yeah. Which I feel like that is warranted, though. Her not trusting him, completely valid.
Yeah, the part that I find a big tell here on just how south it's all gone is, so you have Dane just kind of going, I want to help you. How can I help? And she thinks to herself, I keep forgetting this is my best friend. He's having to watch me risk my life every day. It's very interesting because she doesn't stop to think whatsoever about him, and like most of the time. And so I think that's very frustrating for Dane, to be a little bit in his defense, but he is very overreactive.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to communicate either. They both suck.
No one in this book knows how to communicate.
That's true.
Except maybe Ree. Well, sometimes.
Fair. And once again mentions Xaden pretty much. And Dane's like, Xaden's your enemy.
Yeah. Except for their lives are tied together now, so.
Yeah. Also, shout out to, he also tells Violet that Ambus lit into him for an hour because Violet acted dishonorably in the gauntlet.
Not Ambus.
She lost name privilege. She gets Ambus.
For everyone wondering, Ambus is Amber Mavis. Ambus. Yeah, she throws a lot of hissy fits. I'm not gonna lie.
It's the fact that it's over. Actually, I could go into this so much. I'm going to go into this. One, so she's a wing leader. He's a squad leader. Two, what do you mean she was talking about all this for an hour? She has nothing better to do, and that she's talking to Dane about this for an hour? What have they been doing?
Also, like, she's not even Violet's wing leader.
No, she has nothing.
Yeah, she has no ties to it other than she didn't like that she knew the Codex better than her.
Pretty much. And I'm just like, okay, so we already know Ambus and him was kind of a thing in their first year. And now she's a wing leader and he's a squad leader over Violet. And now she's talking to him for over an hour or like an hour about this scenario that she has no power of to, I don't know, do what for Dane and Violet, because Dane technically is her squad leader. And also, like, what were they doing that she was literally felt comfortable enough to go through and complain for an hour to him about this?
Yeah. Also, I feel like as a squad leader, you should have vastly different priorities. Deal with your own squad or your fucking wing.
Yeah. It's just, it reeks kind of like Mean Girl trying to get her way because she didn't get her way.
Yeah.
And also, once again, for Dane so much liking and being in love with Violet, it's a little sus.
Yeah.
And so it's even funnier, too, because she was like, this is dishonorable. I'm like, what? Her going up the gauntlet was dishonorable?
Yeah. Her going up it, knowing the exact, like, she knew the
Codex.
The Codex. She knew the penalty that would be associated with her using the rope to get up one part, and knowing the Codex and the loophole around the no stealing nonsense, like, that's not dishonorably, that's her just understanding. It's reading comprehension. Reading comprehension!
Actually, it brings up another question, because Ambus and Dane are questionably entwined with one another and have history. Is she jealous that Dane likes Violet?
Definitely.
I feel like it just screams there's insecurities and issues.
Because I'm sure last year, whenever they were more of a thing, I'm sure Dane told Ambus about Violet. But like, he at that point thought she was going into the scribe quadrant, so Ambus was probably thinking that there was no worry about that. And then Violet shows up, and the writers causes some, and then in Dane's squad on top of that, like,
there's like so much like subtext pretty much going on right here.
Yeah.
That if you don't stop and think on it, it's insane. Because also, let's like in Dane's mind, he's like, he's already pretty much have stated, he's like, oh, I've been in love with Violet. I was expecting her to go into scribes. Like he was going to like go sweep her off her feet or something when she was in the scribes. I don't know what his exact plan was, but it kind of gave off the vibe of, oh yeah, I'm stronger, I'm hotter, and I'm going to go sweep her off her feet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is really funny because then you have the fact that everybody in the writer's quadrant is horny as hell. And the scribes very much aren't worried about death sentences. So most of them probably are just like, oh yeah, we date and marry.
Yeah.
So it's a definitely little thing. And so Violet, of course, gets, as one's understandable, pissed off.
Yeah.
And then you have Dane and I don't know if I should call it insecurities or what, but he once again reiterates how he's just terrified of Violet dying.
Yeah. Which I feel like he uses that too much. Like, I believe that he's worried about her dying, but now it just feels like a guilt trip because he's constantly using it to defend his shitty actions.
Essentially, because he comes over, he doesn't exactly ever come and talk with Violet and ask her about how she's feeling, how she's doing. He's always about him and storming over and being angry or scared or whatever. It's always about Dane. And it's like, I'm so worried about you. And not ever like, Violet, how are you doing? How are you taking this? How you feeling? It's never really fully about Violet. And then it's funny because then she kind of ends up seeing Xaden and just flips him off and keeps going. And I'm like, Xaden didn't do anything.
Xaden didn't do anything, but she very much was like, I'm not even dealing with his shit today. I was like, yeah, I mean, fair enough. However, he's probably standing there like, what the fuck did I do?
Rose full on probably just like laughing and just like, okay, she's in a mood today. Noted. So that was the whole ordeal, that to go over that before. What happens is when Violet goes to bed and wakes up and then gets attacked, in which case then we find out, because she's, mind you, she's doing fairly well because it's 7 versus her, but she still doesn't have that great of a chance. She's getting injured, she's struggling. Taryn is telling her, hold off, and like helps on the way kind of thing. He's like, I can't get to you. And he's freaked. And he's trying to help Violet. And so Violet's like, I'm not going to make it. When all of a sudden, that's when, as Ray's mentioned, time stops.
Time stops, still moving.
Yep, and Violet's still moving. Everyone else is frozen. She's moving. And then we find out that's Andarna's doing. And so we're all like, holy effing hell. I think my favorite part is I understand, oh, this is sudden and she's waked up and she's processing it all, but it takes her a hot second to actually move and do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, time is of the essence here. They're like, run, and she's just like, whoa.
Yeah, she's really like, wow, no one's moving. That's crazy.
Run.
Whoa. She's like, oh yeah, I should probably run, but this is so crazy.
And then she's like, okay, I'm going to move now. And Darna's like, I can't hold on for much longer.
Yeah.
The way it's read in the book, and it makes me feel, recalling it, feels like she moved promptly 3 feet. I imagine it's a lot more than that, but it always gave me the vibe of she only moved 3 feet.
I imagined it as a solid like 8, because then later Xaden is like, 1 minute you were over there and the next you were across the room. So I just imagined like 8.
Because right when it happens, Xaden threw the door open and started using his ability. So he saw her, presumably, I would assume, across the room by her bed, because she's before time resumes. And then Xaden promptly goes into the time to kill everybody.
Yeah. Which, kudos to him, because these people were awful.
Yeah. So that was, by the way, this is chapter 19 already. I don't think I announced that. Is the second half of the sleep attack. And so then they also, now Xaden's completely, utterly concerned. And he's like, how'd they get in here? How'd this happen? And so he whisks away Violet away in a secret passage. And he's like, you gotta keep your mouth shut about this too, by the way. And gets them to the dragons. And they're all pretty much talking and going, what the hell happened? And they're trying to figure out what happened. Because the door should have been locked. Violet locked the door, went to sleep. Plus, it's against the rules to ambush, kill somebody in their sleep.
Yeah. Which, at the beginning of the book, we did say that the writers have a short rule book because they can't follow the fucking rules.
They're desperate and crazy.
Crazy. That was crazy.
I don't understand why they're all freaked. It's like, you can wait another year and try again. Sawyer proved that he got a dragon.
Yeah.
Sawyer also proved that Bro's pretty talented and was in one of the top running spots in his first time through, and he still didn't bond while a last person bonded. So,
yeah.
I think it more has to do with character.
And how shitty of a person you are.
Yeah.
Dragons don't want shitty people.
Yeah. They have standards. Violet then tells Xaden what she believes she saw, which would make sense. Logically, if the door was unlocked by a female, it would have to have been somebody with a signet and with decent control of said signet to do the minor magic, which none of the first years are going to have at this moment. They just all started learning control for the ones that have developed the signet ability for minor magic and stuff. So it had to been a second or third year. So Violet tells Xaden. Xaden trusts her and believes in what she saw. And so that leads to chapter 20, which is the trial of Ambis. Dun, dun, dun. Ambis.
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 I feel bad and not bad whatsoever for this girl.
I don't feel bad for her at all.
She had her whole life ahead of her. She was a wing leader.
She fucked around. She found out.
Yeah. Yeah. She became too obsessed with the rules to break the rules, which is wild.
Yeah, she's all for punishing other people breaking the rules, but whenever it's hers, no, it wasn't me.
I feel the true tragedy of chapter 20 is, in fact, her dragon.
I do feel bad for her dragon, but I don't feel bad for her.
And I feel technically bad in a military sense, slightly. Because you are, as you know, in groups only as strong as the weakest person and things like that. And it's like, if she was slightly better, I think she was such a good, like, addition to the military, to, like, the dragon riders and all. But her flaw became really bad, which should have been her strength. Her, like, rules, following, all that should have been her strength. And instead, it ended up killing her. But, and this other big part here is, once again, we see the Xaden, Violet, Dane relationship crisis deepen.
This is the chapter where Dane really started to piss me off. Like, a lot. Consent. My dear man, learn the word.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is where Dane definitely, there's this giant line that he crossed. And I understand where he's coming from, and I understand where she's coming from. It's very much, I think if Dane did this way back at the beginning, it would have been fine. The problem is it's where they're at now. And so basically, Xaden walks up there. He's already told the higher-ups, this is what happens. And so he's announcing to everyone that basically this is the trial of Ambis. He's accusing Ambis of being the one to orchestrate the illegal attack on Violet, which is somebody in his his quadrant for the wing leader, whatever.
You're doing great, sweetie.
She's in his quadrant. He's the head of it.
Same level of role.
Well, I was talking about Violet, but yeah, Ambus is also another wing leader. So it's a wing leader accusing a wing leader, which is insane because she's a wing leader. Like, she's supposed to be one of the best. She's like trusted, beloved, etc. And so, of course, she argues against. Dane's now freaked out because he wasn't told anything. He didn't even know Violet got attacked in her sleep. So he's wigging out on Violet. And Violet's like, I've had enough. She's like, so what? This is not your concern. He's like, I know her. He slept with her. They straight up says he slept with her, but they pretty much allude to the crap out of it.
It's pretty much canon.
Bro, yeah. And so Violet is like completely, utterly disbelieved that Dane's like so untrusting of her. And he's like, oh, here, show me. He reaches his hands out to touch her face to see the memory.
And she says, no.
And he's like, what do you mean, no?
This is why we learn about consent.
Oh my gosh. So if you think about it, though, way back at the beginning, because they were besties, they did it. Like, there was no question about it. Like, freaking Violet took off her pants in front of him. Like, she was like, oh yeah, we've seen each other. We've been around each other. Like, they're practically siblings. Siblings with a crush on each other.
Yeah.
What's with books doing this to me? I'm sorry.
It's all of the books that you read, it just seems to show up.
It's not as bad as it could be, because I like to poke at Shadow and Bone because they're orphans that grew up in the same household. And I'm like, they're pretty much literally siblings. In this case, they're childhood friends, but still, it's a little too close. Just a little to me.
Yeah.
Especially with the lack of boundaries they have. So way back then, yeah, I think Violet wouldn't have thought twice about it or anything. He could have read her memory. She would have, like, all of it. It would have been fine. But this one, there's distinct lack of trust. She doesn't trust him. He doesn't trust her. She's like, the hell you doing? Also, she has a bunch of secrets to keep, too. So, I mean, Violet's technically guilty there.
His energy is bad. Wait until book 2. He only gets worse.
I like to play the what if game of, would he have been so bad if Violet actually talked to him and treated him as the best friend that he's supposed to be?
I mean, I do feel like he kind of started all of this shit. Because he was the one who was constantly trying to get her out and not listening to her. And, like, he kept going on and on about, here's how we're going to get you out. And she kept putting flaws in those plans because her mom is a bitch. And he wouldn't listen to her. Like, support her in this. Don't just make excuses on why she needs to get out.
Yeah. How on earth were they before he went off to Dragon Rider school?
Yeah.
Because there's no way he suddenly, in 1 year of them being apart, had this, like, yes, you changed somewhat, but this insanely, there's no way. He must have always been like that. And so I think it's Violet changing, and he refuses to see Violet changing and accepting that.
Yeah.
And Violet and him just refuse to talk, because every time you see them interact in this book, it's always a squad leader and Violet, or she's injured. And then he's like, all of a sudden, like, oh no, best friend kind of thing. You don't see them actually ever being truly best friends. Like, you see her and Ree, like, working out, helping each other, keeping secrets. You don't see that with Dane.
Yeah.
It's very much squad leader-esque. Not like, they don't go, he doesn't eat lunch with them. He's eating it with the leaders. He's not, like, hanging out with her, helping her, like, train. None of that. It's like whatever bestie vibes they had going, it exists in the past. Ever since she got there, it hasn't been there. The closest would be Big Brother-esque a little bit here and there, which can also, once again, just be labeled squad leader.
Yeah.
I think, well, also to get on there, just to sidetrack, just to mention, since we're on Dane, talk about Xaden. Since the moment we meet Xaden, it's really funny because, like I said, Violet's been goo goo gaga over Xaden since day one.
Yeah, she do be out here enjoying some good old ogling of him.
Even in these set of chapters, she does it and then she's like mad at herself.
Yeah.
And the whole thing's kind of funny because she's like literally tied to him now. And I wonder how much the dragon tie affects that. I'm pretty certain, I thought this was like advertised to be like enemies to lovers, or people consider it enemies to lovers. I'm sorry, Xaden's never been her enemy.
Yeah, it feels more fated mates.
Yeah.
But what if the true enemies to lovers is friends to enemies to lovers, and it's her and Dane? It better not be, but what if?
That's my point, is Dane was like a friend, and he's been slowly getting turned into an enemy. It would make more sense. Or even, as I pointed out, where Jack's been enemy day one. If you had Jack and Violet, that would be actually enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Whatsoever, but he's been the enemy.
However, I hate him. It's because I hate him.
I think if we've gotten to, because we don't get to know Jack at all. He solely exists to be a thorn in Violet's side. She doesn't give him the time of day, really. She ignores that he's a threat. We don't actually get to, so far, know Jack at all. We just get to see him out trying to kill Violet. That's all we get to see. So I was actually pleasantly surprised the one scene in that one chapter where we got to see him interact with, what's her name? Was it Caroline?
Oh, yeah. Back in chapter 7.
Yeah, because came off as just a guy that was really happy for his friend. He was like, oh, congratulations, you bonded with a dragon. He's like, patting her on the head, kind of like arm around her shoulders, like, woo!
Yippee!
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 It really humanized the character in that little snippet. And it's interesting because you do get a lot of people talking with Jack here and there. And the fact that he's able to get away with some things with his threats against Violet. So it shows that he's an actual likable dude, or likable enough for people to talk to him.
Yeah, unless they are all like banded together through Violet Hate Club.
Violet Hate Club, the Bible study of Jack. So I find it interesting because we don't know anything really about Jack besides he dislikes Violet and is allergic to oranges.
Yeah, that really is all we know about him. Because we don't know any of his personal life, any of his home life. Like, we don't know where he came from, what his family does, if his family wanted him to go in here.
Yeah, we literally we just know he aims to be wing leader, so he has ambition. Most people do. It's the writers. He has the whole full-blown writer's attitude. Don't know where that came from. Did that came from his father, his parents? That was just himself. He literally came into there with that attitude. And he has icy blue eyes and allergic to and then, of course, we know he bonded with an orange scorpion-tailed dragon, which is on the smaller side, named Bade. And apparently it's a female dragon. I always thought it was a male dragon for some reason.
I wouldn't say I imagined it as a male dragon. Don't imagine that specific. I imagine an orange dragon. All dragons are genderless.
Yeah, I usually don't associate dragons with gender. It's just more the voices in my head of what they sound like.
We don't even get to hear his dragon, so...
Interesting. I think it would have been a lot more interesting to get more about Jack and go down there a little bit more. But Violet just ignores him, and it's, like I said, freaking out about Xaden, and it's interesting what Violet chooses to do and not do, and what we get from her. But yeah, I guess to go back to the trial of Ambus, is we have that, and that's pretty much the line, that like final line for Violet. Violet pretty much wants nothing to do with Day now. She's in disbelief that he actually would go this far. Then proceeds because she realizes Xaden went out on a limb here. Xaden's marked. There's people who don't like him. There's not really actual evidence. It's just word. And she was like, Xaden went out for a limb on me here. My own childhood friend doesn't even believe me or refuses without proof. So then she asks Taryn to share the memory of seeing Ambus run away. Basically, it's like, that's a little weird. It's like kind of not what we do, but sure, I'll do it. And so Taryn shares the memory with, I think, all the other dragons, and the dragons share it with the humans.
Yeah, I think that's how it worked.
And that's when everyone was like, oh, this is like a no contest. The other wing leaders were like, Ambus, you screwed up. We can't help you here. The punishment is death. And we all kind of, like, she begs her dragon, and the dragon also looks horrified, but there's nothing to do. And Taryn promptly incinerates Ambus. Though it makes me wonder if it was any other, this was any other dragon, would Ambus be still fully killed or not? Because essentially she crossed Taryn, and Taryn's like way up there in the dragon hierarchy.
I feel like they wouldn't have gotten caught if it was anyone else, because Taryn told Sigale, and Sigale told Xaden. So they only found out due to the bond.
True.
So I think if they did it to any other person with any other dragon, they would not have even gotten caught.
That's true. Violet would have just been dead.
Yeah.
Which then Ambus would have been probably caught unless one, the Unbounded squealed.
Yeah.
And so you would have to find all this, because obviously the person who, like, if somebody did get bounded with the dragon, then it's obviously, there's a chance you would believe that they were involved in the person's death somehow. But you can't really do anything, I don't think, too much about it. So unless they had evidence or proof, it's just a giant lecture.
Yeah.
So that's what happens in these 4 chapters. Once again, so some of the stuff I didn't mention about Taryn, but we mentioned most of it. It was kind of like, they just briefly mentions how he knows Violet's memories. And I'm like, well, how much of her memories? They don't ever discuss, like, oh, once you're bounded, the dragons see everything.
Also, why do the humans not get to see the dragon memories? Thank you very much.
Probably because their minds would just explode. Also, probably because if you think of the power dynamics, the dragons know how to do this way more than the humans, because they would have bonded with people before. And another thing that happens that we didn't mention is, while she's flying, she's like, Taryn, why are you making everything so much more difficult? Just do the simple flight patterns. And he's like, no, we're getting you battle ready. This simple little thing isn't going to help you if we're in battle.
Which makes us wonder what he knows that she doesn't know.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, he calls her Silver One. There's been a lot of things Taryn has stated without ever explaining, and it's very mysterious. And also, why is he the only dragon doing that, though, and taking it so seriously? He's like, you need to be battle ready. You need to be battle ready. And all the other dragons are just like, do-do-do-do-do-do. Let's see. What other topics, questions for this chapter? So another thing I had on here was about Xaden and Violet, where, once again, as we discussed, this screams too much like soulmates, fated mates. How much is it because the dragons are bonded? How much were like they fated to end up with the same dragons? And also, Violet just straight up one time goes, his scent calmed me down.
Because he smells minty. He's minty. Minty. Yeah, the smell of your supposed to be enemy should not be one that calms you down. But he smells minty.
Violet just likes to lie to herself. That's all I'm concerned about at this point.
Yeah.
She's been crushing on this man since day one, and everything he does makes her fall deeper, and she just refused to admit it. So, our big thing that I came up with, because it was inspired by Ray, and it's a classic, is we shall end this off with a kiss, kill, no marrying, because that doesn't exist here. You either fuck somebody or you die.
Or you kiss someone.
Yeah. I went with a sweeter option. It was like, we can have kiss on there because they're all horny anyways. You might be like Violet and you kiss somebody and go, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she goes, that's not what I imagined it was going to be.
She built it up so much in her head since the age of 12.
Yeah.
This is why you don't kiss your crushes that you've had since you were 12. Don't meet your idols. Yep. So, kiss, kill. Or kiss, kill, kiss, kill.
Same words. I feel like kiss, fuck, kill.
So, no marrying involved. Unless you're Dylan No Name. He has no last name. R.I.P. Dylan. Gotta shout him out. He was the first death. He was aiming for marriage. This is why we don't aim for marriage. You just die. No weddings here. So, our first grouping here is we have the trio from hell. Jack, Oren, and Amber.
I have, I feel like I have a good answer to this. I'm killing Jack. I'm fucking Amber. Because I'm imagining that I am a year and me and her fucking as her second year, she's gonna have a problem with that because of societal taboos. And then I'll kiss Oren or something. I don't know. I'll make it real.
So, hear me out.
Oh, no.
You could have kissed Jack and just have eaten an orange.
Ah, you're so right. Can I change that? I want to flip them. Give me the orange.
So I feel like it's only wrong of me to... I have to either kiss or fuck Jack because I've been pushing Jack. So, I'm not Violet too. So actually, I say as I have a bunch of health issues, so I am Violet. So we hate... Try to kill each other, you know? It makes it fun. I apparently am crazy. We've already established that. So we would hate fuck Jack because we're actually the true enemies to lovers here. You know what? I would kiss Amber. You know, I'll kiss Amber. Why not? And then Oren, we don't know much about him. He's just a follower, so we can just kill him. He's a follower. Amber was a wing leader. You know, you get credit for at least kissing her. Like, I walked up to her and I smooth, like, I was just like, yo, you know, I smooth talk my way there. I say, I have no game whatsoever. What smooth talking? This would have just been me somehow getting lucky. So, the cheap answer to this is obviously you kiss Jack after you're eating an orange, killing him, then you kill somebody else. And so you're only having to F one person.
Yeah.
Our second grouping here is now the opposite. We have Violet, Jacinia, and Ree.
This one's harder because I'm going purely based on, we all know I'm fucking Ree. Like, that's the correct answer. We know she knows what to do. She was with Tara, then she was with Sawyer. Like, she knows what she's doing. She covers all her bases.
I can't argue with that. I frankly, I have a crush on Ree. Ree's hot.
Right? Like, I feel like I'm so torn because if I kill Jacinia, I love her. And she's such a sweetheart. And she arguably has the most important job in the entire... Because all of the, like, things at the top are, like, transcribed by Jacinia. Or, like, translated by Jacinia. So I'm like...
Hear me out. This is my thought. Ready? Put Violet out of her misery. She's been suffering. Her bones, they're like, she's constantly hurting herself. It would be a mercy kill. Or you join the Jack Bible Squad and we're trying to, you know, we succeeded.
I don't want to join the Jack Bible Squad. I don't want to.
The Cult of Jack.
Yeah, no, I don't want the Cult of Jack. So I feel like I feel obligated to kiss Violet, Ree, and kill Jacinia.
As we established. So we don't get there yet. These are in the future chapters, but you get a little bit more on Jacinia in the future chapters. It's not really a spoiler. Jacinia is a scribe. Scribes are wildly different from writers. They don't just play around because they're not going to die any second. So Jacinia is kind of more of a marriage kind of gal. So I would feel wrong just, you know, having a fling and that's it. So if I had a fling with her, I would have to actually go to marriage, which we're writers. We don't do that. So I as we established, I'm going to have to, you know, we're going to have fun. Ree knows how to have a good time. Now, between Violet and Jacinia, like I've said, I'm always on team. I'm in pain. If life wants to take me out, life can take me out. So I'll take out Violet. She can take me out too. We can just take each other out. And then Jacinia, I just give a kiss, like just a kiss on the cheek. I'm just like, thank you, girl. You're so great. I love you. Just a cheek. Appreciate all she does. Yeah. And then for our third grouping, as now I do it, the guy version, we have Xaden, Riddick, and Sawyer.
I feel like this one is super easy for me. I'm fucking Xaden, obviously. I'm kissing Riddick because he just feels like one of the bros. He just is this goofy ass guy. And that means I'm sorry, Sawyer, but also I don't really know. And you're tall. Congrats. But no. Riddick is just this goofy ass guy, so I can't kill him. Xaden knows how to, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You cut off there, and it was kind of funny because you were just like, Sawyer, I don't really know anything about, and it kind of cut off, and then it went, you're tall.
Yeah, he's fast and he's tall.
So this one's a little difficult. I can come up with multiple reasons to do any of the combinations here. So for Riddick, I could say, yeah, I could fuck him because it would be hilarious. It would be fun. I wouldn't be bored. I'd be probably snorting out my ass.
I think that's called farting.
Same difference.
Pretty sure that's it.
So it would be hilarious. Sawyer, I have so much respect for Sawyer, man. He tried his best. He's got that jacket. I've been rooting for this man as a side character, man, on the sidelines. The little bit we get. Actually, I'm curious, let me go look at their files. I'm going to look at their file here. Let's see. Which I can tell you, I don't update Xaden's very often. So we have Riddick's. Riddick's is literally, he's just a smart-ass, dark brown, floppy hair, brown skin, smaller statue. He got chastised for pulling punches on a female, so he's a feminist. Or not just a gentleman. He stands up for Violet, and he's protective of his squad mates. He has good traits here. Sawyer is, of course, a repeat. He's tall, light complexion, freckles. He's smart, he's athletic. He's, memorized all those dragons. He got his dragon. He did his work. He did his time. I'm kind of convinced that blue. I could be convinced either way with these, because at the same time, Xaden is Xaden. I love Xaden. So, let's see. So, if I were to, I could fuck or kiss Xaden. I don't think killing. Riddick could be fun to kill him. He's a smart ass. You could probably come up with some fun scenarios on why you want him dead. Maybe he bears the shit out of you. I don't know. Sawyer, I feel like he's too much of a golden retriever at the moment. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think, can I come up with a scenario for, why you would kill him? I can't really, unless you're, unbounded and you were trying to steal it, but it's bro is one of you. He's been there. So, I think I might have to kill Riddick. He made fun of me. He did something, he was too silly. His crime was he was too silly. And I just wasn't in the mood that day. So, I'm just going to have to kill him.
R.I.P.
Kiss and fuck could go either way for Xaden or Sawyer. If we're assuming we're first years here, we know Xaden ain't touching me. So bro, third year wing leader, there's not a chance. Bro is not. So kissing somehow happens with Xaden. Maybe we're he was sparring with me or something, trying to train me, and I slip because I'm clumsy, and that's how that happens by accident, and we just clash teeth, and it's unpleasant.
Not the clashing teeth.
Yeah.
That's so horrible.
And then we're having fun times with Sawyer. Ray, listen to me here. Ready?
Yeah.
I F Ree, I F Sawyer. We had a three-way. We had a threesome. There we go.
Yeah. Problem solved.
There we go. Okay. And then fourth grouping I have down is a little bit more balanced. Dane, which misspelled his name. I don't know why I started doing that, but Imogen and Garrick.
I'm killing Dane for obvious reasons of I hate him. I'm fucking Imogen. Also, there is not a single world in which I would fuck Dane. This man is so vanilla to the point where it would be so boring. Like, so no, I am fucking Imogen. Dane, dead. Gone. Garrick's getting a silly little smooch because I don't really know too much about him. I know that he's got broad shoulders and he's big. And he's like the best fighter of the marked ones, I believe. I gotta open up his...
I was like, where's his file? I know somewhere they one time describe him. They're like, he has like twice the like whatever. Like he's like shoulders are insanely broad.
Yeah, I was like, I know he's really broad in the shoulders and he's a really good fighter. Where is he?
So he's labeled as like the big one. He's the direct superior above Dan because he's flame section fourth wing leader in the fourth wing. Yeah, he's marked. Best marked fighter. He uses 2 swords strapped to his back. He has curly hair, massive shoulders, very broad shoulders, mentioned multiple times throughout any times he's mentioned. And he has hazel eyes.
Yeah, I feel like he would be a good kisser.
Fair. So, kill, kiss, and of course, having fun with Imogen.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Imogen and Xaden both...
Well, she weightlifts. She solidly weightlifts. She has pink hair.
Like, say less.
She can step on me.
Correct. Retweet.
So, I try to... I shoot for Dane. I try to shoot for Dane in this series, and I try my best. I don't hate the man, but he's definitely a screw up. As Ray has pointed out, though, Dane and Ambus was a thing, and they're both like crazy rule followers. I mean, there's rules when you're having fun time, but like, yes, Ray.
Also, I feel like Dane would not respect consent. Thank you. Okay, you may go. So sorry.
He has, there's a good chance he is going to touch your face, and he doesn't, who knows how good his control is, so he might slip in his control and accidentally, memory swipe you, or purpose, we don't know. It could be purposely done. He is, in fact, aiming for the information group, so we don't know what goes on in there. So you can't really fully trust Dane quite. So, I'm not going to lie, my biggest pet peeve in any of this and all of this is if you bore me, I'm sorry, I can't. If we're friends and you're boring me, I have no attention span. I am dying. If I'm bored, I am dying. I'm going to bash my head against a wall. It would be more entertaining. I'm sorry. I'm straight up. You could see when I'm in a conversation with people and I get bored, you can see me check out. You could probably see me literally just walk away in a conversation. I guess that's my red flag. So Dane will have to be killed. He will be killed. Now between the two of them, I could go either way. I will say when we first meet Imogen, I'm not her biggest fan. As we get to know her, I start liking her more. Garrick, we don't know anything besides he's straight up a leader, which is kind of hot. And then just that he has really broad shoulders, and it's mentioned multiple times that he has broad shoulders. It really depends on how much Imogen likes me or doesn't like me. So I could go either way. I'll probably just agree with Ray, though, and just be like, fun time with Imogen, kiss Garrick. Garrick seems sweet. Plus, I feel like Imogen would be fun. I feel like she would be fun to have fun times with, Also, I feel like she would then have me in the weight room and doing weights. And I don't know if I love that or hate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other groupings, Ray? It's a triangle here before we call it quits. Is Violet, Dane, and Xaden. Because, it's like a love triangle, except we need Xaden and Dane to get together.
Yeah, right now we got a love acute angle.
Yeah, you got Dane for Violet, Violet for Xaden, and Xaden yet to admit that he likes Violet.
Yeah. I feel like my answer is obvious. I'm kissing Violet, I'm killing Dane, and I'm fucking the shit out of Xaden.
Valid. That's pretty much my answer too. So that's the end episode. Next episode will be chapters 21, 22, 23, 24. And so that's, of course, we post every other Wednesday because we're bi-weekly. So see you then, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Follow, subscribe, whatever. Leave a comment. Let us know. Appreciate y'all. I forget how we sign out.
Me too. I think you've been doing a solid peace out Girl Scout moment.
Peace out, gotta go.
Yeah.
I feel like that ages me an extra, decade that I am.
Old.